And there we are. We are live for Hypno News. Give me just 2 seconds. I need to get into my Facebook account, which apparently doesn't want to do. So I guess we'll have to skip that. All right. As you can see, I'm not Jim Kellner and I'm not Grant Saunders. I am indeed Shawn Kostiuk, filling in for Jim and Grant, who are at Hypnothoughts Live, which I assume they are there with a whole bunch of you. So, for those of you that are at Hypnothoughts and tuning in, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule getting ready for the pool party, and so on and so forth. So, we will go with that. Let me bring up my news here. We got lots of conferences that are still upcoming, planning, on the go. Um, I was actually kind of surprised when I was doing a little bit of research as to what there actually is. So here we go. So, of course, as I mentioned, Hypnothoughts going on right now through to July 23rd. And then, of course, the post sessions are after that. If you haven't made it to the Sahara Hotel yet and are still getting there, hurry. You've got just a little bit of time before the pool party starts, if it hasn't already started yet. We were thinking we might get Jim and or Grant on for the broadcast. If we don't, no worries. We'll call them boots on the ground, and we'll see them when we see them. But upcoming, if you didn't make it to Hypnothoughts and you're still looking for a conference to attend, there are lots of conferences up and coming here. So we have here the National Guild of Hypnotists, NGH, application exam. So if you are a member of NGH and you need to certify, that exam is Sunday, August the 13th. And there's lots of information on their site, lots of speakers. It looks like it's going to be a really good conference. Next up, if you are in the Michigan area or you want to travel to Michigan, the Michigan Hypnosis Conference, August 22nd to August 25th, with your host, Dan Goyette, a fellow Scotsman. My granny was Scottish. That makes me 1/4 Scottish. I think that's where I get my height from, because Granny was 4'11", and apparently I am shrinking according to the doctor, who has said that I'm no longer 5'4". I'm now 5'3" and decreasing. So keep an eye on that. I might need to get some shoe inserts or something to get me back up to where I was. Anyway, it is at the Michigan Hypnosis Conference at the Island Resort and Casino in Harris, Michigan. The keynote speaker, some guy that we know. His name is Jim Kellner. So congratulations, Jim, on being the keynote there. There are going to be lots of presenters. Of course, Grant, another one of our hosts here at Hypno News, is going to be there as a presenter. Michael Brody, Claudia Ricard, Vinny Brigance is going to be there, and a lot more. So August 22nd to August 25th. Nice time to visit Michigan. It's not going to be all snowed over like it kind of is in Canada. After anything after October 15th is usually fair game for stuff like that. The Society for Clinical and Experimental Hypnosis, October 4th to October the 8th, Unlocking the Power of the Mind, Advances in the Science of Hypnosis is the theme. It is an online conference, and so you can attend that completely online. You can see their website for more information. It looks to be, if you're really into the research end of things, this would be a conference that I think would be right up your alley. It seems to me they will have lots of good information, and when they're looking at talking about advances of science, that's good news for all of us, because the better that we can understand what hypnosis is and what it does, the easier it is for us to explain it to our clients. So that would be one that you could take in, again, October 4th to the 8th. And then we move north to Canada. So the Canadian Conference for Hypnosis and Wellness is October 13th to October the 15th. It is the 10th anniversary for this conference. It is in Toronto, Canada, or as we call it, the Six. or as some of us call it, it is Toronto is the center of the universe, or at least that's what they think. So for those of you that do live in Toronto, it's a joke. It's okay. Our football team is better than yours. It's okay. But October 13th to October 15th, the keynote speaker there is Joanne Abrahamson. She's NGH and ICBCH certified. And yeah, there's again lots of information, and if you ever do get a chance to go to Toronto, there are a few sites that you'll want to take in for sure. When you get there, so plan to spend a little extra time as you get there. If you're in Toronto, you're actually fairly close to Niagara Falls. You could make a quick trip down that way as well, and see the Canadian side of Niagara Falls. And Toronto always has things on the go. Last time I was in Toronto, it was kind of like New York. It was the city that never slept. There was something going on Yonge Street all night. So, and not all bad. There's something good going on all the time. Still in October. October is a busy month, so we've got the Society for Clinical and Experimental Hypnosis. The first week, the second week is the Canadian Conference for Hypnosis and Wellness. Third week is Mid-America, the conference, October 20th, 22nd. It's the 40th anniversary of the Mid-America Conference, Arlington, Illinois. And the keynote speaker is none other than Dan Candell, the anxiety relief guy. And again, Jim is one of those guys that is one of the speakers. And Jim, they actually have their itinerary mostly ready to go. It sounds like Jim is going to be speaking on killing it on social media, because we all know Jim is really good at that sort of thing. So if you're in the Chicago, Illinois area, please go ahead and make arrangements to get to the Mid-America Conference. Again, 40th anniversary, so when you hit an anniversary year, they're always going to be doing something a little extra special. So then we kick into November, and you know what? It doesn't let up. This is the part that kind of shocked me when I was putting together the list of conferences that are still to come in 2023. It doesn't seem to slow down. In fact, it triples up. So November 10th to November 12th, the National Association of Transpersonal Hypnotherapists, the NATH, is meeting in Virginia Beach, Virginia. It's their 28th annual conference, and the keynote there is going to be Karen Hand, and she's going to be talking about the secret to magical hypnotic alignment. If you're not attending that one and you happen to be across the pond, the UK Hypnosis Convention, November 10th to 12th, 3 full days of sessions, a Saturday night gala dinner, post-convention sessions, and the closing keynote by Dr. Frederick Mao. That'll be a big one. That'll be, of course, in London, and you can get full details from their website. That would, Europe is Europe, and in particular for me, because I'm Scottish, Scotland is on my bucket list to make sure I get to travel and experience. So, in future years, I will take it up at the same time I can hit up the convention. So those will be good to go. But you know what? We're not finished with that weekend. November 11th to 12th is the AHC, the Australian Hypnosis Conference. They have in-person and online attendance, so it is a hybrid conference. And one of the key pieces that I picked out from that conference, being a bit of a tech guy, is they have a demonstration of VR hypnosis by John and Trish Pellin. So that might be one that you would want to take in if you're able to and you're not attending one of the other two conferences. But not to be outdone, the next week, November 17th to the 19th, the Hypnosis Education Association, the HEA, has a conference. They have a Friday night social, their annual dinner and awards, and they are meeting in Orlando, Florida, November 17th to the 19th. They still have calls for proposals out, so if you are thinking of being a presenter at a conference, you might want to check this one out and see if it's a fit for you. Again, the Hypnosis Education Association, November 17th to the 19th in Orlando, Florida. Phew, that brings us to the end of 2023 and the major conference season. December, things are relatively open, but in 2024, some things to plan for already out of the gate. So, um, in February, we have the Performing Hypnosis Summit, February 2nd to February 4th. We are in the planning stages of that. It is going to be a hybrid conference in the sense that there will be attendees in Las Vegas and attendees online. Uh, Jim, Grant, Paul, and myself are busy collecting ideas, going through the feedback from last year, looking at what works, what's possible, how we want to bring this conference to life. So don't be surprised if at some point we post on social media that we would like some input. We would like to make sure that we have everything in place so that we can have an excellent second conference. So the Performing Hypnosis Conference, February 2nd to February 4th. If you're looking at traveling into Las Vegas from wherever, make sure you start looking at flights. I'm sure there's going to be lots of Christmas sales and New Year sales coming up for airline tickets and so on and so forth. We'll have more information on the Performing Hypnosis Summit website as we develop it. What else do we have here? And the American Society of Clinical Hypnosis, the 66th annual scientific meeting and workshop. February 23rd to 25th. It is a virtual conference, so similar to the scientific one. It is all virtual, so you can purchase your tickets for that and attend that online in the comfort of your own home. And then longer range, start looking again at your calendars for next year. Heartland Hypnosis Conference coming up in April 26th to the 28th in St. Louis. The International Society for Hypnosis World Congress, the June 12th to June 15th. The Pacific Northwest Conference, June 3rd and 4th. That's what it was this year. But bear in mind that in June, we are going to have another Pacific Northwest conference. We will, Jim will have more information on that on the Pacific Northwest Conference website as things develop with that one. And you know what? There are lots of conferences, and I remember Scott Sandlin saying, you know, when you're going to all the conferences, you're going to see things multiple times, and it is not a bad thing to see things multiple times. It helps you, helps you learn and absorb. Maybe you can put two and two together and come up with something new, and then you can present it. The idea, though, of just the ability to get together multiple times throughout the year and connect with your colleagues is huge. I'm a fan of the word able. Always be learning, and if you're always learning, that means you're always connecting with people, because the best source of information is the person who developed something, who came up with a new idea, who shared something that it tweaked something in your mind that said, hey, we need to get together. And when you start getting together with people, you start building not just a circle of people that you can bounce ideas off of, but you start building some really good friendships, and you start developing your practice, your abilities even more. So always be learning, and that means always be connecting. So, plan. Professional development is key. It's huge. You need to have professional development. And I say that as a hypnotist. I say that as an educator. We don't just throw people to the we don't throw people to the wolves and say, hey, you're a teacher, you got your certificate, that's great. Now just get out there and do it. It is. That's just not the way to make education viable. It's not the way to make things work for you. And just seeing here in the chat here, I'm absolutely foreseeing things multiple times. Repetition is the key to learning. However, not interested in traveling to Vegas. And you know what? If there's one good thing that did come out of the pandemic, we'll use the P word there. There's one good thing that did come out of that. Our streaming technologies, our ability to learn online has increased immeasurably. I mean, we're not at Star Trek yet, but we are certainly a lot closer to it. So as those technologies continue to develop, we'll be able to deliver more things online, and still come up with that way to connect. It may not necessarily be in person, but at least it's a way to connect and share. And those are huge when you look at it. I've had a long span of my life as a tech manager, and I can tell you what the technology was like when I started. I couldn't even remotely manage some of my servers. When I left the tech management role and jumped back into the education side of things, I was able to not only remotely connect to all of my servers and whatnot, I could pretty much manage the entire school division from my house if I had to. Again, some of that was in place already. Some of that was because of the pandemic. The technology is continuing to develop, and I know if you're at Hypnothoughts right now, you're looking at AI and what kind of it's big, and it's big everywhere, and rightly so, because it's something that I think is going to alter the way that we can do things, the way that we can deliver our services. So I'll leave it at that. I don't want to get to be pontificating too terribly long. One of the things at Hypno News, we actually talk about hypnosis in the news, and I just came across this article. It is from the Evening Standard, and it was dated as of Tuesday the 18th. And it asks a question: Can self-hypnosis cure my insomnia once and for all? Now, hypnotists will tell you that we tend to try not using the word cure. We might present this as getting a better sleep, getting more sleep, getting the correct amount of sleep. The bottom line is, can self hypnosis help with insomnia? Yes, it can. Now, my recommendation would be not necessarily to start out just using self hypnosis. I would recommend that you actually see a certified hypnotist to talk about that and get some guidance on that, especially if you've never done self hypnosis before. But for those of us that are seasoned professionals, I mean, the answer to that is definitely yes. Hypnosis can help insomnia. In fact, I've worked with people that have had some relief from insomnia, and rightly so. I mean, hypnosis is in some respects, it almost acts as a natural reset to your sleep cycle. So if you look at it from that perspective, just the fact that you get to sleep is a big one. I had one client that I was working with that her insomnia was so bad that apologize for if you can hear the lawnmower going out there. Somebody just decided they were going to start up and cut the grass at 20 after 6. I don't understand that. Why now? Just when I get on the machine, right? Just when I'm ready to do a broadcast. Anyway, client that did not sleep well at all throughout the night. When she did sleep, she would have nightmares. In some cases, ending somewhat violently for her husband. She's been known to hit him a few times here and there, being awakened from these nightmares. And you know what? When we went through just stepping through hypnosis, I didn't even talk directly about getting a better sleep. It was about, we were talking about the nightmares and working through that process. Just working through that process. The next day, I got a phone call. Whatever we did was so awesome. That was the first time since I was like 4 that I actually slept through the night. I didn't hit anybody. Nothing like that happened. It was just absolutely amazing. And so that's, again, that's the result of one of my clients from a session. And it wasn't even necessarily targeted just at insomnia. Like I said, it was targeted at trying to eliminate the nightmares, basically. And so we kind of killed two birds with one stone there. So can it help? For sure. And self hypnosis, if you don't know much about hypnosis, yes, there are apps that will definitely help you. But if you're watching this, my recommendation is always see a professional first, because they can help you prepare yourself for self hypnosis. Any of my clients that come to me, that's the last thing that I work with them on is their ability to take what they've learned through their sessions, whatever it is that we've been working on, and use self hypnosis to make any further changes that they need to, anything else that they want. It's all ready to go. So, okay, so we got that. And then something funny. Well, you know what? I think the funny parts are just I get a real kick out of some of the funny pieces that I've seen from Hypnothoughts. I've been following the Facebook feed. I think Jim should be just about done his Magic Mike edition, so we'll have to see how that goes. I know the pool party is coming up, so we'll see what kind of shenanigans everybody gets up to there. And yeah, this is it's not maybe not so much funny as it is just fun. That's part of being at the events live, is the ability again to connect, not just in a session, but to connect on the side and actually just have some fun, find out what people are doing, how their lives are going, build some friendships. I saw this morning that the Hypno Hustle breakfast was massive this morning. So it was divided up into a couple different groups, and that's good to see. Again, that's people getting together and just sharing, having a good time. And I missed those breakfasts. So they were good, good to attend. That's probably where I learned at least half of what I learned last year at Hypnothoughts was at the breakfast. And just meeting so many different people. I think of like meeting like Gail and Martin Baratz, and the people like that I probably wouldn't have gone to their sessions in because I didn't have them in my work plan. Next time I go, am I going to go see Martin? For sure I am, because he's got something interesting. And in fact, Martin and I shared a lift back to the airport after Hypnothoughts, and we got another 15 minutes to chat even more. So you learn so much, and it's just absolutely amazing. And I will say you do come back with a bit of a conference high, but you know what? That's okay. That will wear down back into new ideas, new energy, and in some cases it might be a new direction for you. All right, until then, and until we get to meet again, I'll turn the broadcast over to Jim and Grant next week. You'll see us again. I believe we have Jim and Brian and I have a Hypno Hero live at the end of the month. I think our guest is Colin Chapman, and that'll be a good one. If you never attended one of those, you might want to drop in and see what it's all about, because Colin is known Colin for a few years now, and he's a real interesting character. Absolutely love chatting with him any chance I get. And also keep in mind, there are going to be lots of things that you will be able to connect into. What I have listed here is everything that I could find online. If you do have a conference or a series of meetings coming up that you want Jim and Grant to broadcast, please, by all means, email them or post in the Facebook chat here. Even if it's after the live, post in the chat here. Let us know what it is, when it is, and how they can get a hold of you so that they can put that online, because you know what, it's you can't sink half a boat, and when the tide rises, it raises the whole boat. So as long as we're all in the same boat doing the same thing at the same time, all good can come from sharing and promoting each other and the things that we do. All right. That was the news for this week. Next week, you'll be back to Jim and Grant, and we'll go from there. Have a good night, everybody.